Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing an old box on TryHackme called Res, and this was actually something that someone had commented about on one of my other videos. I'll put the comment up here, asking if I could take a look at it, and I did complete the room a while ago. I did try to go back through with my notes, and I think I found where this person was talking about that something has changed. Not sure, could have been the owner updated, but such an old box, I think that it may have just updated itself somehow. Not sure about it, but I'm going to do this updated walkthrough, and I tried to find another way to get the information and to do a privilege escalation. I came up with nothing. So if you find a way, or you find a write-up out there that actually details a different way than what I'm going to talk about in this video, by all means link it down in the comments so other people can be able to find it who need a little help. Alright, so we've got the box up and running, and the first thing we need to do is find out some information. Now the first 4 questions, if you simply start with this nmap command, that'll scan all the ports fairly fast and get you back which ones are open. Okay, so you can see we got our 3 ports open, and now to get the other information, of course services redis is running on this port, but to get the actual version number, we'll simply run this command targeting that specific port with the -scv, see what information we can get back. Okay, and there you go, we see we have this version. Also, if this was throwing you off right here, I simply have that set in my host file. As you can see here, I've got the IP of the box, and I got it set to res.thm, so I can just type this shorthand out and it still gets to the machine. Alright, so that takes care of our first 4 questions. The next one is asking about the user.txt and how do we get on there. And for that, I've left a link down in the comments to this. It's one of my favorite websites, book.hacktricks.wiki, and on this page, for pen testing Redis, if you scroll down, you'll get this web shell information here. And if you don't have this Redis-CLI installed, it's just simply sudo apt-get install redis tools, and that'll get it installed for you. And we're simply just going to follow these steps and create our own PHP file on the server basically. But instead of doing PHP info, we're actually going to set it up to where we can give it a command through the browser and it can return the result to us or open up a reverse shell. Okay, so using the Redis CLIA, you see that I've connected to the machine here. Okay, first thing to do is to configure our set directory where we want to work. Now this is your standard directory for your Apache servers. That's why we're using it. Our next command, we're going to set the database file name to redis.php. Now that's just basically telling you that in this instance we're in, when we write stuff to a file or a database file in this case, we want it to be saved in this redis.php, and that's going to be the website we'll visit to execute our attack. Okay, and we'll use set test. Test is going to be our keyword here, and that's beyond the scope of this video, but that's basically a way for Redis to make a link between these and know what to do. And we're just going to pass in this PHP system get command. So when we access it in the browser, where you're going to use the !! command equals, and it will pass that into here and it'll actually run this. So this is the PHP code to run system commands if you didn't know. And then we just type save, make sure it says okay, and we can exit. So of course, if we visit the open HTTP port, we are going to get the default Apache here, just letting us know that the Apache server set up. And as you can see here, replace this file. There's that var www.html that I was talking about. So to access our file, we'll just come up here, type in redis.php, and if we go straight to it, we get this jarbledy-gook back. And if we do !cmd equals ID, let me type it in correctly, we run it, now you can see we get the results of the ID command. So how do we do a reverse shell with this? Let's come over to our terminal and set up netcat to be listening. You can use IPA, and you'll look for tunnel 0 if you are connected through a tunnel. If you're using the attack box, it should be your ETH0 or something like that. But this will be the IP address we want to connect to, so I'm just going to copy it real quick. Come back up here, do netcat, put in the IP address and the port we are listening on, -e and bin bash, and that tells it when you connect, run this command. And we hit enter. As you can see on mine, the little thing is going back and forth saying the connection is still open. If we come over here, we see we are connected. Okay, first thing you want to do is get a stable shell. So we'll use this Python command. There we go. Made it a little bit bigger so it should be easier to see for you. We'll use this Python command to spawn up a shell. And the next thing we want to do that I like to be able to use the clear command. And to do that, we're just going to do export term equals xterm, hit enter. and now the clear command works. So the first thing we want to do is change to home directory and take a look. And we got a couple of users here. And this Ubuntu one is typically going to be what the creator of the box uses while they're working on it. So we want to take this one and just do ls and that. And there is a user.txt in there. If you can see up here, read permissions is for others as well. So we can actually change into that directory. And read is set for everybody, so we can actually just cut out user.txt. Okay, so this is where I'm guessing that the commenter ran into a hitch when they were working with other walkthroughs and trying to figure out what's happening. Originally in this room, it was a SUID exploit, and you found it by running this. We use find command. We want to search from the root, and we're looking for permissions, and -4000 is the SUID. I like to do this -ls because this runs the lsal command on the file, so you can see everything about them. And then any errors, we want to pass that on to null, not print out to the screen. Okay, I adjust my terminal so it's a little bit easier to read the output. Now as you can see, like right here, we've got the sudo command. And if you look in the user, there's an S where there should be an X. So that's how you know the sticky bit for the user ID is set. If it was a sticky group ID, this would be an S. And then actually both of them can be S's as well. Now originally you used the command xxd as the exploit on this. But currently the sticky bit has been removed from the xxd command. So what you would have done would have been what gtfo bin suggests right here, file read. You could simply run xxd, path of the file you want to read, pipe it, xxd-r, and you would have been able to read the contents. And you're supposed to do this on the etc shadow file. And once you did, you would have found that user, Bianca, and you would have gotten a hash for her right here. And you simply would have copied it and saved it into a file and then read John on it. We'll do that real quick. Okay, so I got it to work. I forgot that John stores everything in a .pop file, which on Kali will be in your main user directory under a .john folder, and you can just run echo. You can just run this command to blank the file out, or just simply use the rm command on it. But when you run John, it'll go through and it'll crack it pretty quick. Hey, Future Gandorf here. I'm back. And I have some good news. As you can see on the screen, there was another way to find the password, but I want to give full credit for this to someone who reached out to me on Discord. Goes by the name ScriptKitty13, I believe. This person reached out to me. We went back and forth, and they said that basically after several hours of just bashing their head against it, they finally broke down. Now, they told me that they used Nmap. Nmap has a SSH brute forcing script in it, which I actually didn't know about, and they were able to use it to get this password. And I thought, well, if they could do it with that, what about Hydra? So as you can see here, I ran Hydra, giving the username, and writing this with the rock U. I set T to 25, and it found the password, and it took about 5 minutes. The thing is remember, TryHackme and a lot of these platforms, unless the room or the box you're doing specifically is for learning how to use Hydra and brute forcing, they really don't like you doing it. So with that in mind, I set out to challenge myself to come up with a way to brute force the password without having to do a network attack. And that's where this comes in. So it's a Python script. I do have it up on my public GitHub. I will leave a link to it down below. I'm not really going to go through everything here. If you would like a more detailed video of me going step by step on what's happening here and how this is working, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be more than happy to throw that together for you. But like I said, I'll leave a link to it, and this has a step-by-step readme telling you how to implement this, and I'm going to run through it real quick. First thing is you're going to have to make sure that pexpect is installed locally, and then we are going to run a couple of find commands and copy some folders over. The reason we need this is because pexpect is an external library from the core libraries, so you're going to have to move that folder over with everything to actually make this work. Alright, so as you can see, we found it right here. We're just going to copy that and do a cp-r. Yeah, there we go. As you can see, we've got that folder here. Now the next one we need to find is something called pty process. And it's in the same area. Come back here, type that out actually. And you see we got it down there. Now, also, we need to copy the rock.u. So we'll just simply do that with copy, point it to where you've got your rock.u.txt, which if you're using the standard Kali, should be in your word list, and just put the dot at the end, copy it locally. You see we got it down there. Now, in order to move these folders easily, we need to zip them up. The res machine doesn't have zip, it doesn't have gzip, but it does have tar, so we will use tar to wrap them up. And for pspect, we'll just do it this way. And you see down here we got our zip file. And for pty process, do the same thing. And you see we got it down there. So now we have our main, our 2 zip folders, and the rock.u. And all 4 of these we need to transfer over to the res box. So I've already got my connection to the res box here. I got this other terminal up, and I'm just going to run HTTP server through Python. I'm going to set it to 8080. Now in my README I have Python 3 here. Locally I run Python 3 with Python, just however your machine needs to run it. Okay, and then over here simply all we need to use is wget. Okay, so got this typed out to grab main.py. I'm just going to copy this up to that last slash and make it a little bit easier on the next ones. We'll hit enter. Alright, you see it got. So now we'll control shift V, and next we will do rock.u.txt. And this takes just a few seconds to get over because it is a rather large file if you didn't know. Okay, that's been moved over. So we'll paste that again, and this time we will do pexpect.tar.gz. That got over. Paste, and we'll grab our last one, which is pty process.tar.gz. Okay. And if you're wondering how I'm getting clear to work, if you missed that, it's export term equals x term. You just type that, hit enter, and then you're able to use the clear command. So locally, let's take a look. You can see the index, which is what the machine starts with. There's the redis.php we use to get onto the box. And there's our main py, our 2 zip files, and rock.u. So now we need to unzip these. Do that with tar-xf. Just type in the name of the folder, hit enter, and we'll do it for the other one as well. Now if we ls again, you can see that we have the folders out and ready. And then from here, all we simply need to do is just do Python 3 main.py u-vianca and hit enter. And for me, it takes about 30 to 40 seconds, but I'll be back when it's done. Okay, so as you can see, it found the password and it's just cleaning up the last of the threads that are running right now. So yeah, so there's 2 ways that you can get the password of Vianca since you can't really access the hash anymore. So I'm going to remove my pin comment with a hash. And of course from here, now we can just su as Vianca. Wants the password. We can just copy, paste that. Now we are Vianca. As you can see, we do sudo sl as Vianca. Of course, you can see we have the all, so we just do sudo su, and we are now root. Change to root, and there's your root.txt. So yeah, that's the res room. This is an updated walkthrough for considering the fact that the commonly known exploit doesn't work anymore. Thank you for watching all the way through. I really do appreciate it. If you like it, please give the video a like, and if you enjoy my content, please subscribe. And I hope you've had a great week, and I'll see you next time.